Hola mis amores, hoy estamos aquí, vamos a grabar otro episodio de How to Build a Home. Aquí estamos en la construcción con Bobby y vamos a ver cómo nos va. Hola mis amores, welcome back to another episode of How to Build a Home. My name is Roxie, your North Carolina real estate agent, and
Bobby Williams with Wolfpack Builders.
And today we're gonna dive into one of the most important parts of a structure, the foundation. Last episode, we were talking about
Footings.
Yes.
And it was cold.
It was, and it's still cold.
And it's still cold.
So we're gonna start with the home buyers walking to new construction. Tell us, what do they see right now?
So last time we were here, me and you were walking the footing itself. And we had the foundation pins so the guys can lay the blocks. So in a minute, you're gonna see what we have done since last video, which I'm thoroughly pleased with the progress. The weather's been a little cold, but no rain. So we have, the guys are actually pouring the garages today since we got weather. It's gonna warm up with no rain in the forecast. Yes, it's cold, but the temperature is gonna fly above 50 degrees, which is typically rule of thumb. And so Hanley, last time we told you the waterproofing, you don't need waterproofing on the garage because it's not under the house. But this is what I was telling you, how we set the foundation height. Waterproofing's under here.
Has the waterproof already been done?
Yes.
Yes. You can see it.
So you see the black? And so we set the grade based on the whole lot, like I was telling you last time, how we pitch away from the house and running around the house. Now you can see how that looks. If you go back to the last video, we can see the height without the dirt. Now we've got the waterproofing in, the dirt backfilled, so we run the water away from the house. And the straw is simply to keep rainwater from splashing up on the pretty white brick.
Okay.
And if you also remember, we left love notes.
Yeah, the love notes.
So right here was the 6-inch drain for the sewer, which is right here. That's where the sewer is gonna come out.
Oh, that's where the sewer.
So this is where the plumber's gonna run his sewer line under the house and run out to the septic system. You also saw all those piles of dirt, remember, that were sitting right here? They're gone. We pitched everything to the crawl space drain down here so the water in case of emergency can get out. And this is called fines, F-I-N-E-S. Stone fines. It packs like concrete when it gets hard, but it just a nice workable surface. And lets everything surface flow out in case you need it. The workers can work in here without getting too dirty and it's not messy. And then this homeowner decided to do an encapsulated crawl space. That's not normally how I would do it.
And what does that mean?
He doesn't have to have insulation under the floor joists. He's got perimeter insulation, and he doesn't have to have these foundation vents, which we made a mistake. We actually made a mistake. Initially, I told him that it's gonna be a traditional crawl space, so we have to have ventilation. He decided later he wanted to change to this, so these vents will go away. And the mason will come back when we do the veneer. He'll have to tear this brick and lace it in, so it's nice and pretty, where you can't see the mistake.
Okay.
It wasn't necessarily a builder mistake, it was just a homeowner change order.
Okay. And does that make you guys, like, the process extend a little bit longer?
It added a little bit of time to the clock. We probably could have been a week ahead at this point because we had to stop and take a break for these guys. And you can see how many piers they had to wrap. And so again, last time I think we were standing right about here. And this is where the foundation stepped down.
Yes, I remember. Oh, this is where the step down was?
Right here.
Okay.
And I told you the pins might be on one side or the other. If you remember, or go back to the other video. And I think you were asking me earlier about what does an inspector look for?
Yes.
This has already been inspected. After the mason finished, we had to inspect the foundation, and he's looking for proper footing. And the foundation walls, if you remember, the footing is this wide, but this pier has to be in the middle third of the middle third. So you got a big foundation footing under this pier, and this has to set in the middle third of the middle third. And this is going to be our load bearing points. This is actually a drop girder. This is the main line. This carries a bunch of weight. This is where a triple girder will come through here, and all the other joists will set on top, and they'll set on top of all these piers you see in here. So the inspector's looking for proper projection. We can't do any of this work until the inspector looks at the bare walls on the bare footing. He's looking to make sure we got 2 inches of projection, 2 inches of concrete on each side of the wall. It has to have a little extra. Everything has to have a little extra. So when I say this has to be in the middle third of the middle third, and it has to have at least 2 inches of concrete all the way around the block wall.
Okay.
And he's looking for holes, and he's just looking for holes of quality. All these head and bed joints have to be full, like right here. This is called a bed joint, and that's called a head joint.
Head joint and bed joint.
So he's looking for gaps in our foundation walls where we don't have complete mortar. I don't know if these were in the last video or not, but this is the bolts. This is where the seal plate of the framing will lay right here.
Okay.
And this is for hurricane protection. The seal plate, the bottom plate, will go over here, and we'll crank tornillos, screws, bolts on top of that.
Did you mention holes? I know is it inevitable to have like gaps between the blocks?
No.
No.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
All head and bed joints should be completely filled.
Okay.
Now this is a brick veneer. This is natural. There's an air space between the block wall and the brick veneer. This won't be siding. This will be brick. There has to be an air space here for moisture and air to flow. So if it does get moisture back here, it has a way to dry out. Have to leave a air space here.
That's where you said 2 inches?
Nope. This is a 2 inch, or it's really a 1 inch air space for the veneer.
Okay.
That's different than the 2 inch projection on the concrete in the block. You were asking me also earlier, the top course of the block has to be solid filled. It's hollow down here, but by code, the top cell, we call that a cell, has to be full of concrete. Okay. Now, if we get into a retaining wall situation, like down there where Edwin's standing at the crawl space door, we thought there was going to be a situation where it's more than 4 foot of unbalanced fill, and that's a retaining wall situation. So if I got a 4 foot wall or higher, and it's just freestanding with nothing against it, it's totally 4 foot freestanding, we set it up like it's a retaining wall. So we dowel in an epoxy rebar into the footer, run rebar vertically.
Can we walk over there and see? Let's go.
And those cells are all the way full. Now we have to make it a wall, a retaining wall. So today we're pouring the garages, if you can see in the background. So we pour those first so the framer can set proper header height on the garage wall. That's usually a 24-inch beam. That's important. Now these right here are also going to get concrete, but we can't pour these until after we get the framing up, because we have to flash these.
Okay.
So it's a split pour. Some builders will wait until the framing's in, but I don't like to risk it. I don't want to pour concrete. I have to get that concrete chute in that garage. Right now we have wide open space, and again, I like to set the header height because it's 7 foot, 8 foot, 9 foot off the garage floor. So I like to get the concrete as my baseline so the framers know how high that beam has to be. Now these, you have to wait until framing, because we have to flash this.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're walking over here toward... So we're laughing here because Hanley was backing up with the camera and he just fell over a pier. So we're laughing about that. So it happens. We're human here, but we're telling you the truth. It is okay. So,
okay, let's walk to the retaining wall.
All right, so anyway, we talked about having to pour this patio after framing because we have to flash it. Now we're walking over to the retaining wall. You can't, I call it a retaining wall. It's a foundation wall that we set up like a retaining wall. You can't see it but we put rebar inside of these interior cells of the block. They're doweled in to the footer because you can't have more than 4 foot unbalanced fill. So there's nothing here, but if we built the dirt up out here, all that pressure is trying to knock this wall over. So we put the rebar inside of here and we fill every one of these cells up solid fill. Over there, it's just top course per code. But when you have a retaining wall situation, it has to be solid fill.
Okay, Bobby, question. Why is it so important for a homeowner to understand the space of the structure?
Well, I guess it's like any relationship. It starts with a foundation.
Yeah.
So in prior videos, we talked about the soil and the water. So we got hard soil, proper footings, and now your foundation. It's really all foundation, but you got to take care of your soil bearing and your water and build it from the ground up. So now these piers are what's going to support all the crawl space framing. It's going to carry the roof loads from the top down through the framing, top of this pier, all the way to the footing, all the way to the soil. So we've demonstrated so far that the ground might look like it's hard, but it's based on the machine operators' feel on the machines and how much resistance, and we do a little probe and make sure the dirt's hard. And then we make sure we got proper adequate footing per plans, 2,000 PSI with rebar, or whatever the engineer calls out. And now we got masonry foundation with interior piers with solid fill on the top and solid all the way through the 4 foot. And they're spaced out according to what the engineer designs.
Okay.
That's why you can get an architect's plans and you can build per code, but that's going to be a grade C build. I always want my architect's plans to be engineered so we know exactly how big the footer is supposed to be, how much the design strength is for the concrete. Do we need rebar? Do we not need rebar? Where all my point loads are coming down. So it's just better to have an engineer to do it. Again, patience up front, due diligence up front with professionals.
Yes.
And then it just kind of seemingly flows easy if you're proactive and not reactive. But this is a very important part of the design, and it has been inspected by this municipality. So now we're free to frame.
Okay. And what's going to be the next step for this construction?
So we're pouring garages today. I have lumber dropping next week. The framer's set up. We'll cut him loose with the plans. I'll check on him every day for questions, but he'll let it rip, and we'll probably be out here 4 to 6 weeks framing.
All right. Well, we're going to be here maybe 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to add?
Maybe, the crawl space door for access. We try to put the crawl space door on the tallest part so people can get into here. Some of the mechanical equipment, the plumbers are going to get in here, so we try to maximize our door on the high side so we got room because he's going to have framing to go under. Again, I reiterate that this is an encapsulated crawl space that was a homeowner change order. We've got our yard graded on the outside now where water can run around. It's not going to sit up against the foundation. We got everything pitched away, got our waterproofing in, positive slope for drainage, straw to protect the white brick. The guys are pouring garage, lumber's scheduled up. That's about it.
Well, thank you so much, Bobby, again for your time explaining everything to us. And for you guys, if you have any questions that you want us to go over, please do send it in the chat. Put a comment down below. Subscribe to my channel. And
Adios, mis amores. Buen día.